guys, Sean Bucci. I want to cover why you have failed or why you will fail in surplus funds recovery if you do this using methods that are 20 years old, okay? Assignments, power of attorney, that type of thing. And how you can succeed. All right. First off, you need to understand how this works, guys. You need to understand the nuts and bolts, the truth behind surplus funds. One is you have to research the debt. It's easy to do. You can do it right online against the property. Okay? You got to research that debt. Unlike what these other people are telling you, if, for instance, the tax sale or even mortgage, we handle tax and mortgage overages. We go after both, over doubling your options here, opportunity. But if you don't do that, you need to understand they're telling you that if a tax sale happened or if Bank of America foreclosed and there was a second mortgage or a mortgage from Wachovia, that's kicked out at the foreclosure. Yes, it's kicked out. It no longer has a claim against the property itself, but it does have a priority claim against the surplus funds, the overage. So if you don't research it, half the time the stuff you're chasing isn't going to work out because it had debt that has a priority claim against that, or you didn't check to make sure the owner didn't transfer the deed. Again, it takes minutes, guys, minutes online. But if you didn't check that, if they quit claim the deed to somebody else, they're not entitled to the money. You're chasing the wrong person. You've just wasted all that time. That's the number one reason people fail. They don't understand you have to research. And guys, it's not hard to do. It's quick, okay? You will try to use assignments or powers of attorney because that's what those guys are telling you to do to claim. First of all, that's illegal in a lot of states. Secondly, we're finding you're going to get, even if they do the assignment or the power of attorney now, their little trick is they're going to put it in the claimant's name. You're not going to be able to cash that check. You're going to get an uncashable check, or you're going to have to do something else where you meet the people at the bank and do something crazy. It's really not the way to do this business, guys. We use structured buyouts. We hire attorneys to do it. Attorneys can use their trust accounts to break the checks out. It's easy to do. These assignments and powers of attorney, first of all, you're going to get into legal trouble in a lot of states. Secondly, however, you're going to, even if you do succeed using that, you're going to have uncashable checks. All right. You need real systems to reach people and check judgments. The other debt you got to check is judgments, guys. We teach you how to do that real quick too, or we'll do it for you. We actually partner with you. You can send us deals and we'll take it after you've researched the debt against the property, get us a couple documents, we'll take it from there. We'll do it all. Find the people, put the deal together. Anybody that's done this before, a light bulb just went off in your head and you said, oh my goodness, of course I want to do it this way. At least to start, get some money in your pocket. Okay, the other thing is, you're going to be, the second reason, besides not understanding how this truly works because you've been fed a line of baloney, guys, is you will be competing against pros like me. And that is, we use buyouts. So if there's a $30,000 overage, you're going to be calling them, right? You're going to be calling, trying to get a hold of them. Oh, I'll just take 25%. I'm going to do this on my own. It's not a big deal. I'll get this for you. Da-da-da. You have zero credibility. It sounds too good to be true. We're going to send them a check. I'm going to say, listen, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars. I'm going to pay an attorney. I'm going to pay a researcher. I'm going to give you this much money. And by the way, Mr. Johnson, this $30,000 retrieval, I'm going to give you $3,000 within 2 weeks after you send me that check because I use a buyout. I'm buying your interest. That's the first buy. So while you're calling them on a wing and a prayer, I'm calling them giving them money. I'm going to win, okay? That's the big thing. Also, I have full-time staff, guys. I use attorneys. So I'm going to get it done. I have a full-time staff while you're trying to call by yourself, trying to make things happen. I got 3 full-time case managers, full-time data entry, full-time negotiator, okay? We mail to not only the claimant, but all their possible friends and associates. So we get in touch with them before you do. And we've got a BBB with our buyout side. We have a BBB accreditation. We're members of what we started up, the rightfulownerproject.org. We're going to win because we're acting like pros. You get on board with us, you get the benefit of all that because we're acting like pros for you and we pay you really well. I'm about to cover what that's going to mean to you. Contact friends and associates, that's big. Tax and mortgage, guys. Tax and mortgage. There's a lot more mortgage overages than there are tax. We teach you how to check those too. Now, just so you know, 30% of the people that start with me or buy my program started with somebody else and failed. So I know what you went through. I know that you didn't have reasonable expectations. I know. We're not selling you a bill of goods. We're not going to hit you later and say, by the way, you have to pay us more money to partner up. It's all included in our program, all included in the cost. Let me give you a real world example here. 200 names. 200 names. Let's say you got 200 names to go after. You don't research them. So in reality, we're down to 100. Because you haven't done the research, you're chasing 200 people, not realizing that 100 of those either quitclaimed the deed to somebody else and they're not entitled, or there was additional debt that's entitled to the surplus in front of them. So you're chasing it, trying to put the deal together, and you're running into a wall at the court. And you are just pulling your hair out. So you're down to 100. You're going to get in touch with max, maybe 8%. When I say in touch, you're going to find a lot of these people. But to actually have a physical conversation with them, because you're probably not going to use all the systems we do, you don't mail to friends and associates and call them, you're going to be at 8% contact rate. Out of that 8%, 10% are going to say yes. So I'm going to say you got a hold of one person, okay, that actually put a deal together with them, okay? It's probably going to be tax. Anyway, one person. 40% of that deal. Let's say you make 40%, which is what the other guys are saying you can make, right? 40% on a $35,000 deal. You just made $14,000. Sounds great, doesn't it? It sounds great. That's if you're legal, where you did it, right? That's if you're legal, and if only half of them were encumbered, had other debt against them. Now let's pretend instead of that, instead of beating your head against the wall, trying to do it all alone without any help, with zero credibility, you came on board with us. 200 names. Now you researched them all. Because we taught you how to do that, it only took you 15 minutes to research each one. That means out of the 200, 200 are possible deals. We get in touch with a minimum. I'm doing worst case here because we use TLO, we use microbill, we do multiple mailings. We try to get a hold of them through directly and through their associates and friends and family. We're sending out 30 mailings per file right out of the chute. And we're calling at least 15 people right out of the chute on every single file, okay? That's going to get us a minimum, worst case, in touch with 20 people out of that. So again, we mail, we call the friends and associates, full-time staff. 70% of those are going to say yes, minimum. So I'm going to get at least 14 of what you sent in under contract. 70% of 20. Why? Because I'm a pro. Because we do 10% of them, we give them a 10% buyout up front, give them the rest later. We have them sign buyout agreements with our attorneys. They are never going to argue with us. They just signed an agreement with an attorney, not with us. We do not use assignments. We use buyout agreements. As a result, the attorney can cash the check for us, so we can actually cash the checks, right? So we get 14 deals done. Okay, we pay 8% of gross. Most states limit you to 10% or $2,500, whatever. We pay you 8% of gross. We're checking the judgments for you. You don't even need to get a program to check and see if there were judgments against the individual, which also count against surplus. So all this stuff is tightened down, good to go stuff. 8%, that means 8% of 14 deals at an average of $35,000. 8% of $490,000 is $39,200. So while you were over here crushing yourself, pulling your hair out, you made 14 grand chasing 200 people. You did half, or I want to say, good Lord, 20% of the work, because all you did was research debt and send it to us. 200 names, you made $39,200 with us. Guys, we tell you the truth. We tell you exactly what it takes to be successful. And let me go ahead and summarize this in a nice, short, sweet way so you understand the difference between us and anybody else that talks about surplus funds out there. This is it in a nutshell. They're telling you you can get paid in a matter of days. It doesn't take any research. You're going to find people on Facebook. You can use virtual assistants. They're telling you everything that sounds good. You're not going to have any money, spend any money. They're telling you all that. Why? Because they're trying to sell you as a customer. Hit and run. They want you to buy their program for whatever it is, $1,500 is the last thing I heard, something like that. They want you to pay them $1,500 and then pay them more if you want to partner up with them because they want the $1,500. Our programs generally run, this is us versus them, okay? Our programs generally run anywhere from, depending on the program, they generally run around $500. We do not hit you for more. We don't do any of that. Why do we charge less? First of all, we charge just enough to cover our costs because we're going to be actually mailing these people and doing all that as we go, right? Why do we charge you so little for a better opportunity? Because we make money on the back end. Because we are not trying to sell you as a customer, we're trying to partner with you. We have a vested interest. We have a vested interest in helping you succeed. Because if you succeed, we succeed. They have a vested interest in selling you as a customer for that $1,500. Most of the guys that work with me, I'm going to net out 35-40% while I'm paying you your 8% too. I'm going to net out 35-40%. I'm going to make a lot more money partnering with people because I can see the big picture. Again, we have a vested interest in making you successful. They have a vested interest in making you a hit and run customer. That's the bottom line, guys.